السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على السلام حي على السلام حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
بسم الله. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما ثم أما بعد إن أصدق حديث كتاب الله عز وجل وأحسن هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر أمور محدثاتها وكل محدثات بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. All praise is due to Allah Azza wa Jal. We praise Him and we extol Him, and we seek refuge in Allah from evil within ourselves and the evil results of our wrong actions. Whomsoever Allah guides, none can be led astray, and whomsoever Allah allows to be left in misguidance, and there is no guide for that person. Verily, the most truthful of speech is the book of Allah Azza wa Jal, and the finest guidance is that of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the most evil of affairs are the newly invented ones. For verily, every newly invented matter is a bid'ah, an evil going astray, and every bid'ah is in the hellfire. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Today, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam and Iman, would like to continue where we left off in our series of khutbahs concerning what will take place in the last days. Well, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Now I would like us all to imagine that we have crossed over the bridge, over the Sirat, over Jahannam, which I had mentioned last week that Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said is thinner than a hair, and it's sharper than a sword, and it's slippery, and it has hooks. So I'd like us all to imagine now that, Wallah alhamd, Allah, He saved us and He rescued us, and He had allowed us to cross over the bridge. And we are now standing at the door of Al-Jannah. And we know that this is not a dream, because we have woken up from our sleep and be made to cross over the Sirat, over a Jahannam. We'll know that that position that we're in, standing at the door of Al-Jannah, and may Allah, Rabbana aj'alna min ahl al-Jannah, Allahumma ameen. May Allah make us of the inhabitants of Jannah. That it is not a dream. We'll know that we are not dreaming, because we have been woken up from a long sleep, and then we'll be standing in darkness, and then Allah Azza wa Jal will allow all of us to cross. We'll all be made to cross over the Sirat, over Jahannam. And as we mentioned last week, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam and Iman, that will not be able to cross according to the level of our speed or agility. We'll all be made to cross according to the level of our deeds that we have done in this life. So may Allah Azza wa Jal grant us the tawfiq to do the deeds which are mukhlasin lahudeen. May Allah bless us and grant us the tawfiq to do deeds which are sincere in accordance with the Quran and authentic Sunnah. So my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, I want you to imagine yourself standing at the door of Al-Jannah and looking to one another to see which of your friends and your relatives have made it over. We'll be looking and we'll say, Wallah alhamd, we've made it across. And we made it across, and we'll be standing at the door of Al-Jannah. And my dear brothers and sisters in Islam and Iman, we have to realize that this fadl, this grace from Allah Azza wa Jal to be able to do the good deeds in this life is only by the tawfiq from Allah Azza wa Jal. If Allah Azza wa Jal does not grant us the tawfiq, the ability to do good deeds in this life, then we will never ever be able to cross that Sirat over Jahannam in the next life. So my dear brothers and sisters in Islam and Iman, as we mentioned last week, if we are clinging to the Quran and authentic Sunnah to the best of our abilities in this life, if we're trying our utmost, if we're really sincerely trying to be sincere Muslims in this life, then Allah Azza wa Jal will help us at that time, at that moment, and He will give us a nur. He will give us a light so that we'll be able to cross over that Sirat, over Jahannam in the next life. So my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, when the true believers will be able to cross, and when they see people falling into the hellfire, and they're standing at the doors of Al-Jannah, and each person will be with the person similar to them. Al-Muqarrabun, those who are the closest to Allah will be brought near to the door of Al-Jannah. And then Al-Sabiqun, those people who are always quick. Those muqarrabun, those who are close to Allah, all the time staying close to Allah and always watching and making sure that they're close and that they're not going to miss a salat in Jamaat, and they try and do those things which will always keep them connected to Allah. And then Allah talks about those musabiqun, those people who are always the foremost. Those people that whenever you call upon them to do something for the sake of Allah, they are quick to do something for the sake of Allah. Those will be the next set of group, will be at the door of Al-Jannah. And then you have every group similar to that group. You'll have the prophets with the prophets, the true, sincere believers, the mukhlasin. May Allah make us of al-mukhlasin, lahudin. Will be with those similar to them. And then you'll have the martyrs, the shuhada, those who died in the path of Allah. They will be together. Then you'll have the ulama, rabbaniin, the scholars, those people who used to teach the people the ilm, the knowledge. They will be going together in groups at the door of Al-Jannah. Every person, every group will be comprised of a group similar to them. And then we will reach and arrive to the door of Al-Jannah. Allah Azza wa Jal, He tells us about this. حَتَّى إِذَا جَاءُوهَا وَفُتِحَتْ أَبْوَابُهَا وَقَالَ لَهُمْ خَزَنَتُهَا سَلَامٌ عَلَيْكُمْ طِبْتُمْ وَادْخُلُوهَا خَالِدِينَ. Allah Azza wa Jal says, until all of the groups of similarities reach to the door of Al-Jannah. And this, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, when I say I want you all to realize and try and visualize yourself, because we're not going to be looking for anybody help or assistance to cross the Sirat over Jahannam. We're not going to be looking for any of our family members. We're not going to be concerned about our friends. We're only going to be concerned about ourselves and how we're going to make it across that bridge, which is thinner than a hair and sharper than a sword, and it's very slippery. And when we make it across, and now I've found myself standing in front of the door of Al-Jannah. And then Allah Azza wa Jal gives us the description that when we reach across that, and its gates will be opened, and al-bawab, the doorkeepers, the gatekeepers will say, Salamun alaykum, peace be upon you. Tibtum, you have done well. Well done, you have done well. So enter. Fadkhuluha khalidin, enter into the Jannah and remain in it. This, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, is a descriptive verse. This is a verse, and Allah knows best, when the believers arrive at the gates of Al-Jannah, after passing over the Sirat over Jahannam, we'll be able to see what is inside Al-Jannah. We'll be able to see what is inside Al-Jannah. The doors of Al-Jannah will be opened up for us, and we'll be able to look and see what is inside Al-Jannah. Just like in this life, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, if you ever went to a very posh condominium or residence area, you cannot just enter into any place. There's a door person, there's a gatekeeper. You cannot just enter into very posh apartments or condominiums. But that place in Al-Jannah is not like any other place. The people, they will be recognized. We'll recognize each other. We'll recognize each other. The believers will recognize each other. And when we see our family members, and we see the believers who we used to pray with in this life, who we used to call and wake up for Salatul Fajr, and so on and so forth, and we finally arrive at the door of Al-Jannah, not believing that we would have ever made it. All of those stories we would have heard about Jannah that our parents used to tell us, or we might have read in books, or we heard in mahadaras. Now we're actually there. We're at the door of Al-Jannah. And then we're able to see inside. We're able to see what is inside. And this, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam and Iman, is out of a source of dignity and karama and respect for the believers. That the doorkeeper will allow us to see what is in Jannah. And then, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, at that time, when we're able to see what is in Jannah, and we have to know that each and every one of the believers will be able to see in Al-Jannah according to our level of good deeds that we've done in this life. We're all going to be able to see inside Al-Jannah that according to our deeds. and that which we are shy to even think about in this life, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam. Every one of us, according to our level of iman and amal, will be able to look inside al-Jannah and yutma'inna. We'll be having a hope and desire for those things. We'll see inside al-Jannah those things in this life that we're even shy to even think about. Everything that our hearts desire, everything that we ever wanted, according to our level of iman and our deeds, we'll be able to see and catch a glimpse of it. And we'll have itma'inna. We'll be hopeful that we'll be able to get in. But, my dear brothers in Islam and iman, we will not be able to move from that place. We'll be standing at that spot, at the door of Al-Jannah, not being able to move and take a step and enter into Al-Jannah. We will feel so much overjoyed that we crossed over the bridge and we're standing at the door of Al-Jannah. But now, we cannot get in. So we'll be looking to one another. And there's a simple reason, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam. There's many reasons why, even though we've done the good deeds, that we'll not be able to enter, like debt, and there's many other reasons. But today I would like to mention one particular reason, inshallah, which is the cause that will prevent us from going into a Jannah ala tul, right away, which is a ghil. This is a characteristic. This is a very elegant way that Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam had phrased it. That is a sense, or it is a character trait which would prevent us from entering into Al-Jannah right away. This is something which has been mentioned in the Quran and the authentic Sunnah. And this is something which signifies a sort of hatred or dislike or disdain towards our Muslim brethren. So when we have this ghil, if we have this, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, right now, in this life, a sense of hatred or dislike towards any of the believers, then my sincere advice for myself and for you all is to remove it. If we have within ourselves any kind of baseless dislike for any of the believers, then my sincere advice is for us to remove that from our hearts. Because all of the good deeds that we have done can be made to be at loss. All of the good deeds that we have done, they can be left and lost, like dust in the wind, if we cannot remove this feeling of dislike towards any of the believers. And when I say this, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, let us not get confused that we should just unconditionally like or we love all of the people who profess La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. No. Because the people of bid'ah, those people who innovate things into the deen, we must try our utmost to avoid at all costs. And we see all of the atrocities that are taking place in the world. And we know the harmful effects of those people who are calling to La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. But there's an ulterior motive, and Allah knows best. But us, as the people of Sunnah wal Jama'ah, Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we should try our utmost to avoid the people of Bid'ah. And those people are calling to confusions, or those people are calling to political slogans or nationalism, because there's no ism and there's no slogans in Islam. In Islam, the call is La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Because if whatever was not deen back then, it cannot be deen today. Because Allah Azza wa Jalla says very clearly in the Quran, Al-Yawm akmaltu lakum deenakum wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati wa raditu lakum al-Islam dinan. Allah Azza wa Jalla mentioned to the Prophet ﷺ, and that was at the time of Hajj, and that was at the standing of Al-Arafat, that on that day, that Allah Azza wa Jalla revealed the ayat, that at that time, and on that day, which is over 1400 years ago, that the deen has been made complete, and Allah Azza wa Jalla is happy and pleased as Islam is our deen. So my dear brothers and sisters in Islam and Iman, whatever was not deen back then, it cannot be deen today. So anybody who tries to bring some kind of confusion and claim that this new thing that they're bringing to you is deen or will bring us closer to Allah, that person must be refuted, that person must be avoided at all costs. So my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, we know that Rasulullah is always mentioned in the khutbah al-hajjah, which the ulama call the speech of need. Inna kulli bidatin dalala wa kulli dalalatin finnar. That every innovation is a going astray, and every going astray leads to the hellfire. That bid'ah and that caller to bid'ah and that innovation, him and the person calling to it are in the hellfire. Nasallallahu al-afiyah. May Allah keep us all safe. So my dear brothers and sisters in Islam and Iman, after an issue has been made clear to us that a person is calling towards bid'ah, then we have to avoid them. We should not be fooled by appearances, and we should not be fooled by political slogans. Because the Rasul made it very clear, and we all know this very small surah in the Quran, Inna a'tainaka al-kawthar. The Rasul informed his ashab about his basin, Al-Kawthar, which Allah Azza wa Jalla will grant him in Al-Jannah. And the Rasul he asked his Sahaba, Atadruna ma Al-Kawthar? Do you have any idea what is Al-Kawthar? They said, Allah wa Rasuluhu alam. Allah and His Messenger know best. He ﷺ said that it is a river that my Lord Azza wa Jalla has granted to me. He has promised me this, and it is abundance of goodness. It is a pond where my ummah will be brought to, and around it, it will have cups, the amount of cups like the stars in the sky. And the containers will be as numerous as the stars in the sky, and the believers will be brought to it, and they will drink from it, and after they drink from it, they will never ever go thirsty again. And then one man will be prevented from it. And I, the Rasul said, I will say that he is from my ummah. I recognize him. And it will be said, you do not know what he has done after you. So my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, bid'ah is a very, very detrimental thing in Islam. And my dear brothers and sisters in Islam and Iman, if we want Allah Azza wa Jal to grant us Al-Jannah, that place where we'll have no joy, we'll have no hunger, we'll have no fatigue. And the call and the reply will be salamun salam. We'll be greeted with the greeting of peace. Then let us stick to the pure, authentic deen. Today, let us not try and invent new things. Let us avoid all of those people who are trying to invent new things and try and tell us that this is deen. Because whatever wasn't deen then will not be deen today. Bismillah wa salatu salam ala Rasulullah wa ala alihi wa sallam huda wa ba'd. All of us have heard many descriptions of Al-Jannah. All of us have heard over the years many different descriptions of Al-Jannah and what the inhabitants of Jannah they will receive. And we all know the description of Al-Jannah. And we all know about the Hur'ain. We all know about the rivers of milk and honey. We know about all of those things, and the delights, and the fruits, and the misk, and the garments. And we all have heard that we will all be of similar age. Nobody will be sick, nobody will be weak. Everybody will be of similar age. And some of the Mufassirin said that everyone will be of the age of about 33 years old, of similar age. And we'll all have the similar complexion. So, another thing we have to understand is that in Al-Jannah, there are many levels and there are many gates in Al-Jannah. Blacks, in the opposite, there are many levels and there are many gates to An-Nar. May Allah save us and keep us and our families away from Adab An-Nar. Allahumma ameen. So, the Rasul said in many authentic hadith that Al-Jannah has over 8 gates. Imam Ahmed has recorded that Abu Hurairah said that the Messenger of Allah said, whoever spends something of what they like from his wealth for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, then Jannah, he'll be able to enter into Jannah from any of the gates which he pleases. And the Rasul said that the people of Salat, the people of prayer, will be called from the gate of prayer. Whoever is amongst the people of Sadaqat, charity, they will be called from the gate of charity. Whoever is from the door of jihad, they will be called from the gates of jihad. Who is ever amongst the people of fasting, they will be called from the gate of Rayyan. And Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, he said, O Messenger of Allah, it doesn't matter from which gate that we are called, but will anybody be called from all of those gates? The Rasul said, Naam, arju anta takuna minhum. He said, yes, and I hope that you will be amongst them, amongst those people. So, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, when you hear the question of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq asking, it doesn't really matter from which gate that we are called from, but he asked, would anybody be called from all of those gates? So from this, we get a good example in Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, and from this, we get a good direction that there are so many ways to get into Al-Jannah. There's so many ways, but the main thing is, we have to start and be in a regular habit of picking and doing any of those things that are easy for us. And it's very easy to give a sadaqat. It's very easy for us to be in a regular prayer. So my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, when we're standing at that position and we're wanting to enter in a Jannah, we'll be looking for somebody who would intercede for us. We'll wonder, why isn't it that we cannot move and get in? Now, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam and Iman, when the believers reach to the gates of Jannah, when we reach to the gates of Jannah, there we will be asking and we'll be consulting with one another, and we're trying to find out how can we get in. And then there we will see the father of humanity, Adam alayhi salam, and then we will see Noah alayhi salam, and then we will see Ibrahim, our father Ibrahim alayhi salam, and then we'll see Musa and Isa, and then Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and we'll consult all of them. And then we will ask all of them, and they will not be able to reply. They will not give any reply. But the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he will stand up and he will stand forward. And that maqam, that station, that station that Allah Azza wa Jal had promised him, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the leader of all of the prophets and messengers, the leader of mankind, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, will be granted that station, and he will be standing on that station, and he will say, Ana laha, ana laha, ana awwal shifa' yawm al-qiyamah. I am the one for it, I am for it. When none of the people, none of the prophets can speak, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam will be the one to speak. Allah Azza wa Jal will grant him that maqam al-mahmuda. Allah Azza wa Jal will grant him that elevated status, praiseworthy status. Well, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, that Allah Azza wa Jal, he granted us and he made us of the ummah of ijaba, the one who responded to the call of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So can you imagine, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam and Iman, standing at the door of a Jannah, and our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam will be the one to make the shifa for us. He will stand and he will make shifa for us. He will ask Allah to allow us to enter into Al-Jannah. Wallahi alhamd. May Allah Azza wa Jal bless all of us and give us the tawfiq to do the good deeds in this life that are pleasing to Allah Azza wa Jal, and grant us the pleasure of going into Jannah with Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Inna Allah wa malaikatu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya alladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallam tasliman. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barak ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا ولم تغفر وترحمنا ونكون من الخاسرين. أقيم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Okay, line straight. Don't leave any gap for the shaitan. Put your foot next to your brother's foot. Don't leave any gap for the shaitan. Jazakallah khair.